All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our weekly review for this week's episode of The Walking Dead Season 10. This is for episode 11 now. It is called Morning Star. Awesome, man. So, spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen this episode yet for The Walking Dead Season 10, you're definitely going to want to watch it before you watch this review. Oh, man, I absolutely love this freaking episode. This was the best last 8 minutes or 10 minutes of an episode ever, pretty much. This one was so exciting. So this one we actually get to see, I guess, the full-on Whisper War kickoff, or I guess the battle at the hilltop. Now, kind of the way they've done things in the Walking Dead television series version is, instead of making it sort of obvious that, kind of the groups are at war, they sort of did this kind of Cold War approach, which is sort of like they're kind of at war, but they're not really sure. But it's sort of like, the survivors don't want to mess with the Whisperers because they don't have enough confidence to think they'd be able to beat them after last year and what happened with the Pikes and everything, which we all kind of figured right away after the Pikes that the survivors would all get together, form a military, and want to just go after the Whisperers to get vengeance for Henry and Tara and all the others that they lost at the Red Fair. But as it turns out, it kind of went the other way to where because they had lost so many people, right then and there. The group sort of, I'm going to say, disintegrated. Well, they lost the kingdom, and they pretty much decided that they did not. They felt, I guess, overall, they kind of felt they didn't have what was necessary to mess with the Whisperers. And we've seen how fearsome Beta is by himself. In last week's episode, we've seen all the different things that Alpha can do. But in this one, we get to see what an all-out Whisper attack on a community actually looks like, and I thought this one was freaking awesome, man. To the point where you see them getting the sap from the trees, and you're just sitting here thinking in the intro, you're like, what is he doing? Beta's hacking up the trees. I felt scared for that tree for a second when I saw Beta coming up with that. Yeah, it's and then they're filling up these sacks with the sap from the trees, and I'm like, what the hell are they doing? But yeah, it was as an accelerant for the fire, and I didn't know that you could actually use tree sap as an accelerant. I didn't know it was an accelerant, but Walking Dead. Thanks, Walking Dead. Taught me that it is. As they're kind of sending these whisper bombs, these manual kind of whisper bombs, launching them, and then you have the sap kind of exploding from these little sacks everywhere onto everybody, and then you have the flaming arrows come in as the fire just kind of lights up everything. And the hilltop is basically all wood, right? So oh man, the Whisper assault is nasty. First you have to deal with a bajillion walkers coming at you, which usually be enough to take out just about any group or anywhere, right? Then after that, while you're busy killing all the walkers, they're launching, accelerants at you, accelerant bombs at you, which at first seem harmless, like, oh, I'm okay, it's no problem. Then you see the fire come afterwards, it's like, oh my God. And then, if that's not bad enough, you still have all these, these walkers right in your face trying to kill you. And then, even if you somehow manage to defeat that, then you have Beta coming after you and Alpha, and I guess Negan too. As I love the stuff that they did with Negan in this one, where you got to see some kind of cool sort of throwbacks to season 7 and season 8. I love when Daryl sort of sees the trees and kind of the survivors kind of strung up, and it's like a season 7 or season 8 all-out war kind of throwback, and it's got Negan written all over it. So Daryl sees it right away, and he's like, "There's no reason, no point in checking the other roads. This is Negan, right? He knows right away. This is savior tactics right away. This is what they do." And I just thought that was, I'm not sure why it was so cool for me. Maybe it's because I actually do still really like seasons 7 and 8. I recognize that maybe they're not the best seasons ever, and a lot of people, kind of bash on those seasons, but I love to see kind of, him sort of be able to see right away Negan's fingerprints on stuff, to know that, and I love where he's he's with her now, and it just was so cool to kind of see him sort of recognize Negan's trademark, recognize savior tactics right away, and be like, okay, yeah, we're not doing this again. There's no way. There's basically no way out, and they're going to have to kind of either fight their way out, or maybe they just have to abandon ship and and go through the forest or something on foot with all these kids and stuff. So they're in a really bad situation. But, we get to see from Negan's perspective that he sort of savior locked them in, cutting off all the exits, cutting off all the roads, thinking that they would have an opportunity to surrender. And I love the scene when he finds out that, what about them joining us? And Alpha's like, basically that they will join us, but as part of her horde. And Negan says, smiles at first, kind of like, whoa. He says, holy shit, you are a badass. Now, this is a great one for me because this right here is confirmation, I would say, from Negan, so a previous major series villain, the biggest villain we had ever seen in The Walking Dead, up to that point, with the biggest, strongest savior army with, over 100 or so, fighters and saviors and different base locations and things like this, outposts and whatnot, and heavy artillery and all this stuff. So you have a prior villain acknowledging that as badass as he ever was, Alpha is way more scary and way more badass. He's like in awe. He's like, whoa. He's like, I thought I was a badass. This chick is fucking crazy. Oh my God. And then you see the fire go off and everything. And it's like, oh my God. It's just like, it's like a rat in a trap. It's just like facing the whispers. It's something I guess you just don't want to do. They're absolutely pros at this. They have everything worked out, every angle worked out. And, it's almost to the point where they're kind of backed in at the end of the episode. Huge cliffhanger, right? For this one. Luckily, we'll get to see the continuation next week. And I think they switched. Some people said they switched the placement of the Michonne episode, so that's not going to be next week. Next week we're going to get to see, as we saw in the preview for this one, the continuation of this, which is good. This is not the right time right now to show Michonne's episode. As much as I want to see what happens with Michonne, and I can't wait to see if she's going to survive, if she's going to leave somehow, or if she'll be killed off. But right now, I'm not interested. After this cliffhanger, leave that until after this whole thing kind of gets resolved with what we're seeing here. This was a huge cliffhanger, but they're just like trapped in this spot where they're outside of the hilltop walls, I guess lumber walls, which are now have accelerant on them and are lighting up with fire everywhere. You have the walker herd at their backs as they're trying to kind of get in there, so they'll have to find a way to get in there without getting cooked. And just so you guys understand, once you get accelerants around with fire, it's the heat is insane, right? It's very just to say it's not normal fire. It's very, very dangerous, insane heat, and that's really some crazy stuff. So what a crazy cliffhanger, man. I absolutely love it. Like I said, the last 10 minutes of the episode are absolutely unbelievable. We'll come back to it. So you start the episode off, like we said, you've got Beta, and he's getting the sap ready, and then you have them saying their words as they march in for battle with their walker herd. So we are the end of the world. They say their words, which is very common. If you guys haven't looked it up, depending on your heritage and whatnot, you can find out what your family or your clan words are. Most clans have them. It's like a motto or something you say as you go into battle. I guess it just riles people up. You could have things like maybe have war drums and stuff like that just to get people riled, to get the adrenaline going, to get people riled up as they go into battle. So, you just get the sense as you're watching this through. The Whisperers got it all set. They got their motto down. We are the end of the world. They're saying we take them all. As they're kind of going in. You have all the walkers around them. I just thought of, there's a line in the comics where they say, we whisper and the dead don't mind. So it's cool how they're like in the dead and they're kind of whispering as the Whisperers. And they're saying their words as they're going into battle, and the dead just go with them. And you just hear this like, as they all kind of say it, you just hear this like this sort of, I guess it's like a war cry or their words, a motto, as they're kind of going in. The dead are with them, and they're just whispering it so the dead don't get tipped off. And I just thought it was so cool to see that kind of brought to fruition. We've seen a lot of stuff from Whisperers so far, but to actually see them kind of going into battle saying their words is really cool in the intro. We take them all. So you get the intro, and then from there up until the end, you have kind of all kinds of different character stuff that's happening as the group is sort of as we find out afterwards, trapped in. So we get to see a lot of different interactions. Tend to think there's probably going to be maybe a few character deaths next episode are coming up, just with some of the different characters that got kind of spotlighted here with the different interactions as we go through. So let's go through each one briefly. So we have starting things off with Eugene and Stephanie, which I liked all the stuff with Stephanie. Stephanie and with Eugene. They did kind of a singing part later on, Have You Heard? And then you've got him kind of, is that a montage as he's singing, and they have all the different scenes kind of playing out, getting things ready, and the stuff with Rosita. So we saw that in a trailer where Eugene goes to kiss Rosita, but we got to see it was another kind of fake out. So all the girls are mad, right? I think they wanted to see that. I'm not sure, but it ends up kind of being kind of revealed in this one that it's a test from Rosita to see how, you kind of sense she gets maybe a little bit jealous. But she's also happy for Eugene too, that he's found somebody that could be a possible, romantic partner, girlfriend for him, and he's got a date and this whole thing. He also doesn't tell Stephanie near the end of their conversation that he might die. He just says he'll be there, which I thought was a bit strange, because you tend to think like, you probably tell her like, I might be dead. If I don't show up, it means I'm dead, because we're possibly under attack by this group of maniacs, right, in zombie skins. So that's a good one to go over, right? So I like the stuff through to kind of see it. It made sense of that scene that we saw in the trailer, which I thought was like a bit strange to see Eugene and Rosita like that. But I guess it made sense that he decides not to, given the opportunity after all this time, because he used to watch, right? If you guys remember Abraham and Eugene was watching. But when did Eugene become like an alpha male? Because here we go. This one week we find out that him and Laura did it at the sanctuary, and now he's got another love interest, and now Rosita's maybe showing some interest, or at least a test, some kind of a test for him to see how in it he is. So. It was fun stuff. I like to see all of that through with it, and looking forward to seeing a meeting between Eugene and Stephanie, assuming that somehow Eugene and the others survive the current Whisper onslaught. So that was all good stuff, and I like that. So then we have a few hundred miles, so Virginia, and then you have. So that's they kind of find out where each other are, and they set up a location that Stephanie says. So we'll see that coming up soon. We have Earl and Alden, which I did like all the stuff they did in this episode with Earl. Kind of worried about him for next episode, because he got more time in this episode than he's got in, can I say, years, or than he usually gets. Because if you guys remember, Tammy and Earl, and then was it Ken? Was that their son who? I don't remember. That was like a minor subplot in season 9 where you had their son. You guys remember? I think it was Ken or something like that, or Kenny or something like that. And with Rick and the others, and he dies and whatnot. And so they take in the new boy that Gamma wants to see. So you have that, but everybody hates Gamma, including Alden, because of Enid, which totally makes sense. If you think back to it, and so. Gamma sort of gets to see her, but it's just brief, and I think she understands from Aaron. He's trying, but everybody hates her, and as we can imagine why after all the deaths at the hilltop and everything like that. We also got to see some good stuff between Ezekiel and Carol, which was pretty good. Carol finds out in this one that Ezekiel has got cancer. So does Daryl. Not sure which parts I like better. Ezekiel and Daryl having a quick word. I just like when he says, he's like, "Nah, I got cancer." It's like, you okay? No, I got cancer. It's Walking Dead. What do you expect? Everybody's dying or something. But one popular theory for that one right now is maybe if he survives this battle here, maybe with Eugene and Stephanie, he could go to this community, and maybe they have some kind of treatment or something they can do for him, and they can kind of save Ezekiel. I would like to see that, and I tend to think that might be correct, because usually if, with Walking Dead, they're going to have most of the deaths be shocking. There's pretty few deaths that they would telegraph so far ahead, like a cancer type death. I mean, I guess maybe you'd have some, but considering Ezekiel is a Walking Dead veteran now, I hope he'll survive, and I hope that maybe Stephanie can help in some way, and that theory ends up being correct. I like it anyway, and it's good. And I like to see that he points out for Carol that she's kind of lost her sense of humor, but at the end there she kind of brings it back in her kind of joking about them all possibly dying tonight. We're going to die tonight. So it was fun. It was good to see the two of them get back together. But Ezekiel is kind of not sure about it, because he's kind of thinking like she only did it because she thinks they're going to be dead that night, so might as well do it. A Eugene, Laura savior situation, if you guys missed that video this week. So but maybe not quite so bad. Laura was kind of pushy around that time, right? So all that stuff. We had some cool stuff with Judith in this one. At first, Rosita thinks that it's someone from Oceanside that Eugene is talking to, and that's when I sensed a little bit of jealousy there. Like what business is it of yours, right? So then we have let's see, just a lot of different little things. Oh, Judith fixes Daryl's jacket, which I like that one a lot. And I like to see the Colt with her because it's like bigger than she is. It's like she's got the Colt, and it's like, it takes up like a lot of her frame is filled. The Colt is like, it's big for her. But really cute stuff to see her and Daryl. And so the plan is in this one that if either Daryl or Ezekiel fall, and Daryl's leg's really messed up, right? So he's trying to battle. He's got the Morning Star, which is really cool. I love that. But if one of them is to fall, the other one is to get the kids out of there. And it sounds like, based on what we're seeing right now, it looks like they're probably going to have to retreat one way or another. But I just thought that was so epic, man, when they're kind of walking in, or Daryl is, and he's kind of got the limp, or gimp? Is it a gimp? A gimp leg, right? Gimp. He grabs the Morning Star. He's kind of coming in, and then when then he goes to the front, and I absolutely love that. And then he swings it and gets the first kind of kill of the group. I just love to see him kind of go up to the front with it, even though he's injured and everything. He goes right in, and he's ready to go, and he comes up to the front and does the thing. I just thought, as I was saying, as you see Daryl in the episode, I just thought okay, I know Norman Reedus hates it whenever we compare him to Rick and say oh, can Daryl replace Rick? But I just thought it was kind of like, it was meta for me, because it's like, here he is, he's injured, he's whatever. It's like, yeah, it's tough for them to keep doing Walking Dead every year. But, Daryl, even if he's injured, he still shows up. No, I can't. Shut up now. But he shows up, he goes to the front, and he does the thing. So I got some Rick-esque vibes from him, even being injured, even going to the front, being right up there. I just thought it was really cool. And I'm well aware Daryl will never replace Rick, whatever. Don't hang me. Don't Gabriel hang me or Morning Star me. But you guys know what I'm saying. Like, he just goes up to the front. He feels like he's the leader of this small group of survivors that's left. And you really get that sense when you see the battle go through, that you just have, like a very small group of people now that are still alive, and all these other people are dead. And so the numbers are really small, and they're facing kind of these just insurmountable odds. And Beta hasn't even come up to the front lines yet. He's like in the background. Negan's there with a bat somehow. And, I guess it's not hard to find a bat. And his trademark weapon. And then the crazy bitch Alpha, who's tough enough on her own, without having the men around to do her bidding. It's just like, oh man, it's like. Then that's what I felt. I actually liked it when Kelly kind of puts her hands in the sand to kind of feel if the ground is shaking, because as the herd comes in, they shake the ground, or at least there's all of their footsteps with that many together in a spot, cause kinetic energy to spin out, and she can kind of feel it. So I just thought that was kind of cool. If you guys don't know about that, if you have enough people kind of marching, sometimes that can happen with bridges. I believe in physics is that if enough people kind of stomp on a bridge, it'll like collapse the bridge, which is really weird because you have like these big trucks and stuff and everything that kind of go over it. But I guess the kinetic energy, when you have that many walkers together or people kind of stomping, as you go through, or just even walking together, can kind of be felt. I thought that was kind of cool too at the start of the battle. And then when you see the dead kind of come in, it's just like death has come. I got the same kind of vibe as I got when Rick was injured, and you just had all the walkers like everywhere with the rebar, and it was like doom, that's what I got when you see that all come in, and they just face it, and they're doing their thing. Aaron says formation and all that, which is cool. You have Eugene, the big scary huge, with his kind of makeshift electrical wire, I guess, which at this point is like, what's it going to do against that many? And it fries a couple, or at least one, and then the others kind of like get it on the chest, and it proves to be insufficient, right? So it's a cool little, it's like he's like their engineer, right? It's like a cool little trick, but it's not enough to really do anything against that. So, oh man, absolutely loved all that stuff. there was a lot of different little lines and stuff like that, but I guess we won't go through everyone in this video because there was just so many of them, like stuff like Lydia and Carol, which had a good scene, and I liked it when she said her mom was coming, and it was like, don't, it's just like, it was so cool when Daryl and her ride in, and we got it, they wanted to go and save the others, and it's like, oh, you can't go out there, my mother's coming, which I just thought was really cool. It's like, oh man, this is going to be awesome. So, and it was awesome. Oh, right. And Earl's lines that, to tell everyone it's going to be the fight of our lives, and kind of just getting everybody riled up, get everybody together to at least do their best that they can do, whatever that is. And that. So I think that's pretty good. I mean, we can, if you guys want to discuss any other specific lines or anything, like maybe there's the Carol and Lydia part where Carol still, wants to kill Alpha. I get the sense from Lydia in the scene that she understands, and she's is she going to hate her for it if Carol's able to succeed? I even think even then maybe she won't. Even then she won't, because she knows her mother's a freaking monster, right? So. And that'll do it, I think, for the review, guys. Oh, the rats coming through. You have all the rats coming. It was freaking epic, man. It was one of the, and it's not even over yet. It's just kind of started. But it's one of the coolest, build-ups to a battle I think we've ever seen in Walking Dead. It reminded me maybe more of something you'd see in, Game of Thrones. Is about the closest thing I can compare it to. It was just awesome to see. It was a cool build-up. It was suspenseful. I love seeing Daryl kind of come up to the front and kind of, I guess, be the unspoken strong leader, even though he's injured, that he has to be for the others. And I just thought it was wicked awesome. Because usually we're used to kind of seeing Rick kind of do that. And he's got the winglets fixed and everything. So it was just really cool, man. I absolutely loved it. Anyway, we'll save the rest for the Q&As. We'll do video predictions after this. And we'll do a live stream tonight, which I always love doing that with you guys. It's a lot of fun. So if you're watching this and you want to check back for the live stream soon, after I'm done the next video and post it online, which will be in about an hour or two, we'll do a live stream together and talk about the episode. But I'm going to give it a 9.2 out of 10. I loved a lot of stuff in it. I love kind of the, for Negan, just everything with Negan in this one, and it kind of relating back to season 7 and 8, and to see Daryl kind of really at the forefront, and even though he was injured, Earl being very cool in this one, and just everybody kind of everybody who's there getting some time, and it was cool to see. Just to see everything. So felt like more like an ensemble type of episode than just like one character focused type episode. Anyway, that's my review for this week, guys. I love Morning Star. The ending was amazing, and check back soon for the rest of the videos. Join us for the live stream where we all hang out and have some fun, talk about Walking Dead. And man, that really was, I think, one of the coolest battle sequences, at least to start. It's kind of unfortunate that it's going to be split up in episodes, but you kind of understand why that might be, just with kind of the platform Walking Dead has, the way they do it and everything. But I can't wait to see next week's episode, man. That's going to be amazing. And it was freaking cool. This is, I guess, the closest to Whisperer War we'll ever get in the Walking Dead TV series, it sounds like to me. I mean, we'll see other battles. We'll see Alexandria probably in that. But this one, Morning Star, was like, at least at the end, was like the closest thing to war that we could see in The Walking Dead right now, I think. So based on how things are going through. So that's it for this review, guys. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. What did you think about the episode? Did you love it? Were you bored because there was a lot of character stuff in the middle until the calm before the storm, until the end kind of came up? And what were some of your favorite parts, or maybe some of your favorite kills or whatever from the episode? That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.